Bad Wheelie here. We've been staying in the Hill City KOA for several days now, hoping for the rain to break. It's May 2020, and we finally got a day with just fantastic weather. You can see beautiful blue skies, and we're heading out to ride Iron Mountain Road. So this is the KOA at Palmer Gulch. It's just outside of Hill City, just a few minute ride. It's actually a really nice KOA. It has campsites and cabins galore. It's a great place, especially if you have a family. We didn't have kids with us, but if you do, you could really have a lot of fun here. And there are other campgrounds in the area that are equally as nice. A lot of places to stay out here, and there are places to stay right in Hill City. The north entrance to Iron Mountain Road is very, very close to where we were staying, but it was recommended by a number of people that we ride it from the south to the north. So we're heading toward Custer State Park. Mount Rushmore is actually behind us as we're heading this way. And we're going to head through the entire Custer State Park from the west side to the east side, passing the famous wildlife loop there to hit Iron Mountain Road at its southern end. Now, coincidentally, we also, a couple of days later, rode Iron Mountain Road from the north to the south. So in a few areas in this video, I'll let you know, we show what some of the features of the road look like when you're heading north to south after we've gone through them in the south to north route that we're following today. It takes about 45 minutes or so to get to Iron Mountain Road, so we've elapsed a lot of time here for you to get us to the entrance to Iron Mountain Road. So we've just left Custer State Park, and this is Iron Mountain Road. You can see here the sign on the right speaks to the very short, narrow bridges, tunnels that are on this road. And it really is not safe for large vehicles. You would not want to take an RV, a trailer, on this road. In fact, I'm surprised it doesn't say that they're prohibited. Also, there's a lot of wildlife along this road, and you really don't want to approach any of that wildlife. But unlike the wildlife loop through Custer State Park, you generally don't have to be too concerned, or really concerned at all, about buffalo. Now, Iron Mountain Road, a little history on it. It was built in 1933, and the road was actually designed so that people would drive slow. So for that reason, it has a lot of curves. Some of them are blind curves, and it has some features that are really unique, and I'm really excited to see them. First of all, again, it has these tunnels carved into rock that are very narrow, not very tall. But it also has a couple of sections where the two-lane road splits completely into two very separate, distinct lakes. Almost looks like a path when you're on it. It's 17 miles long. There are 314 curves. There are 14 switchbacks. There's a feature that I've never seen before, and that's called a pigtail. And that is where a tunnel, a trestle, and a sharp turn are all combined together to create a pigtail, and you'll see what that's like a little bit later. Also along this road, it was designed to provide some spectacular views of Mount Rushmore off in the distance. Now, somewhere in here, there is a Iron Mountain Road store where you can pick up souvenirs, stickers, different types of things. We're not going to stop there. We're just going to cruise right through. But a lot of the early part of Iron Mountain Road is just like this. There are a lot of curves, but it's relatively flat terrain for this kind of section here. As you can look ahead, you see the mountainous area that we'll be heading into. It takes about 45 minutes to do the entire road if you're moving at a decent clip. The speed limit on the road is, for the most part, 35 miles an hour, and in some areas, it's 25 and slower. But they do really post 35 miles an hour throughout the entire road. There are obviously stretches like this where, on a motorcycle, certainly you're going to want to go a little faster, but it's a lot of fun. We're here we come up on the first tunnel, and you can see how narrow and short these tunnels are. Wouldn't want to be taking a big truck through here. Now we'll transition to our trip from the north to the south, so you can see what this looks like going in the other direction. Now continuing on northbound. Had I known, I would have stopped to take a picture, because that tunnel evidently frames Mount Rushmore quite nicely. But I wasn't aware of that until I did some research after I got back. Now we're ascending the mountain here and working our way toward the peak. A number of switchbacks get us all the way to the top of this road, and this was really a very fun stretch. We're in a section here that's referred to as the Norbeck Wildlife Area. And while we didn't see a lot of wildlife on this road, on this particular day, maybe some deer along the way, some antelope. We did want to stop here and just kind of walk around a little bit. It's a very, very pretty area, and it does provide some really wonderful views of Mount Rushmore. In general, we got behind a few cars. This was May of this year, during the time of our pandemic here. So travel was really light. We didn't see too many cars, but in general, cars were very quick to pull off and let us get around them. They knew we wanted to go a lot faster than they were able to go, so that was very helpful. We did see quite a few motorcyclists, of course, and we also saw bicyclists, and seeing a cyclist riding to the top of this particular hill here is quite impressive. So we decided to stop at the Norbeck parking area to kind of walk around and take a few pictures. We'll share some of those pictures with you now. Mount Rushmore off in the distance. So Peter Norbeck is a famous politician from South Dakota, and actually Iron Mountain Road is part of a collection of roads in this area that make up the Peter Norbeck Scenic Byway. One of those roads includes the Needles Highway, or 87, which we'll cover in another video that we did. A very exciting road to be on. Peter Norbeck was around in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and as a politician, he was a governor of South Dakota twice, and then subsequently served 3 terms as a U.S. Senator. He was a huge proponent of the Mount Rushmore in its construction and supported the building of a number of these roads that are very popular for travelers of all kinds, and especially motorcyclists in the Black Hills of South Dakota. So now we're coming up on one of those areas where the road splits into two sections. And as I mentioned earlier, it almost feels like you're on a bicycle path. It's really narrow. It's a lot of fun on a motorcycle. It doesn't feel wide enough for a car, but it certainly is. And there are two sections like this as you move through this part of the Iron Mountain Road. So we've been descending for a while, and we're moving back to that lower level that we started at. But this half of the trip, after you come down from the top of the mountain, really feels a lot more exhilarating. There's a lot more turns and curves. They come a lot more quickly, and you get into some of those really fantastic features that I talked about earlier. So far, we've only seen one tunnel. And here we're coming up on another very dramatic tunnel. Which immediately then turns into one of those pigtails that I spoke about earlier. And the construction of this is really fascinating. The wooden trestles give a real feeling of history here, and the turns are quite dramatic. Now, what we did is we were able to run this in the other direction, so you can see what it looks like coming north to south. Going up the bridge instead of down. And then we're continuing on the rest of the trip, coming to the second section where it separates into two paths again. Again, these are just little short, spirited moments on this road where you have the opportunity to accelerate a little bit and you feel again like you're on a narrow path. All of this is a slight grade downhill, and we're coming up now on another tunnel. Now this tunnel also creates, and you can see it right there, a tremendous vista of Mount Rushmore. Now it's very dark in the tunnel, so the sun's shining, but from the far end of that tunnel, you get a wonderful vista through the tunnel of Mount Rushmore. And had I known that, again, I would have stopped to take a picture, but we missed that opportunity. So here we are coming into the second pigtail. This one really winds for a while. These trestle bridges are just fantastic, especially given that they were designed in the 1930s. Well, now we're coming up on the third, the last, and the final pigtail on Iron Mountain Road. Now this one we taped going in both directions, so here we are heading north to south and descending that pigtail. Frankly, it's fun in either direction. We're 2 up today, so we're riding cautiously. Continuing on as we finish Iron Mountain Road. We're probably just a few minutes from the end of the road here as it comes to a close someplace between Mount Rushmore and Keystone. And that's it for Iron Mountain Road. Hey, that's a pretty cool car. Well, we had a great ride. I look forward to the next opportunity to hit Iron Mountain Road. Bad Wheelie out.